when she came from the back of my home, I was putting the food on the table, and I was kind of upset because she said, I said, where are you going? She said, Mom, RJ called and said if I bring Jaya to see him, he'll let me get my things. I looked at Raven, and I didn't want to let her go. I didn't want to let her go. I knew that he was going to do something to my child. I knew this. And I just wanted to say, just wait, just let me put this food out here, and I'm going to go with you. But she's an adult. I can't stop her from doing what she wanted to do. I had to let her go and be the adult that she is. I had to let her go.
Yes, I just called 911. I was trying to see how long it takes for the officers to come get my daughter, mom, on my house.
We're going to get them back out there. If anything changes, let us know.
Officers are redispatched, but records show they first drove several blocks away to use the bathroom and then decided to investigate a stolen car. Then, at 10:08,
and the officer's still not here.
A fifth call from this house. Watkins grows more volatile. The 911 dispatcher pleads with Watkins to calm down.
You need to get out of her face. You go to another room.
Little Arjaya can be heard crying.
In a whole other separate room.
Finally, 6 minutes into that final call, nearly a half hour after officers knocked and left, a gunshot.
Raven Gant, a vibrant 27-year-old mother, was determined to move forward and leave her toxic relationship with her ex-boyfriend, 41-year-old Randall Watkins, behind. But her dreams of independence and a better future were tragically and brutally extinguished in a horrific act of violence. On Thanksgiving Day in 2019, Watkins lured Raven to his home under the pretense of returning her belongings on the condition that she bring their 2-year-old daughter along. However, once she arrived, Watkins' demeanor shifted dramatically. What should have been a simple exchange turned into a nightmare. When Raven attempted to leave with her daughter, Watkins refused to let her go. As she tried to escape with her child, he made a monstrous decision. He shot her in the back, killing her in cold blood. The most chilling detail: their young daughter witnessed the entire tragedy, watching helplessly as her father took her mother's life. This senseless act of cruelty not only stole Raven's future, but left the child forever scarred by the horrors of that day. It's a tragic reminder of the devastating consequences of domestic violence, leaving loved ones to mourn a life taken far too soon. Raven Gant deserved freedom, happiness, and a chance to raise her daughter in peace. Instead, her life was cut short by the very person who should have protected her. Welcome to the American Crime Femicide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads.
Lashes or makeup? Tell them that lashes or makeup.
I don't know. The lashes is like, they heavy on your eyes.
They're not. I can open my eyes. But
Heavy. It's like lifting weights every time you blink your eyes.
Anyway, I need to slim them down a little bit. You know.
Is your eyebrows just your eyelids, are they strong though?
Girl. Got my eyebrow pencil. I put it back in my purse. Eyebrows on fleek. Lashes on fleek. This eyeliner about to be on.
Raven was a vibrant young woman with dreams, ambition, and an undeniable zest for life. Born in Chicago, Illinois, her family later moved to Minnesota in search of better opportunities. Gant thrived in her new environment, balancing a full-time job as an accounts manager at the Union Depot Hotel while pursuing a degree in hospitality. She had a passion for fashion and a confidence that radiated through her love for makeup, hair, and dressing up. But she was more than her outward beauty. She was dedicated, hardworking, and deeply connected to her family and friends. In 2016, Raven began dating Randall Watkins, a persistent older neighbor who lived down the block. Initially uninterested, she eventually agreed to a date, and their relationship quickly took off. In 2017, they welcomed their daughter, affectionately called JJ, who was adored by both sides of the family.
Give him a kiss. Dada's that way. You want to get Dada?
However, by the time JJ turned 2, their relationship had turned into a nightmare. Watkins revealed his abusive nature, leaving Raven bruised and terrified. His violence wasn't limited to her. He shot her father and even attempted to kill a friend over a petty $30.
The red flags that I saw was he shot my husband. He had beat my daughter so bad till she had 2 black eyes. She had scrapes and scratches all over her body. She was covered in blood. She was standing in the doorway of a restaurant that we were all supposed to have lunch at that day, covered in blood, her and the baby. When she got our attention, she turned around and she went back out the door and sat in her car, and she was unrecognizable. He had beat her that bad. My husband was upset about it. So of course he went to see, what had happened and why he had did that to her. He shot my husband 3 times. Before that even happened, he served time in prison for shooting his best friend. He was 16 years old. He shot this 16-year-old boy in the head and in the back over $30. She told my husband and my son that if they wanted a relationship with her, that she needed to let it go. But if you knew the relationship that he and Raven had, then you'd understand, you understand his actions. He loved Raven. They were super close. I can honestly say that I think that they were closer than she and I were. And he made a comment to me that I love my daughter so much that I wanted to respect her wishes, but I ended up losing her anyway.
Despite her desire to provide JJ with the stability of a 2-parent household, Raven made the courageous decision to leave. She took her daughter and moved out, though not all her belongings could be retrieved from their shared home. Watkins, unwilling to relinquish control, used every opportunity to torment her. Throughout 2019, he played games, withholding her belongings to cause her anguish. On Thanksgiving Day, November 28, 2019, he called Raven and asked her to come by. Initially, he refused to let her retrieve her items, sending her back to her mother's home in frustration. Later, he called again, this time insisting she bring JJ to his house for the holiday. Reluctantly, Raven agreed. But once inside, his true motives were revealed. He refused to let her leave, escalating the situation to terrifying levels. Both Raven and Watkins called the police, but their involvement failed to de-escalate the danger. Raven, desperate for help, called her father and brother, begging them to come get her. Tragically, by the time they arrived, it was too late. Watkins had shot Raven in the back as their daughter watched in horror. Raven's mother, Lakeisha, was devastated not only by her daughter's murder, but by the apparent negligence of the police that night. For 3 years, she fought relentlessly to obtain the body camera footage, which confirmed her suspicions. The police had failed to protect Raven.
Even though I miss her with everything, I know that she's in a better place.
In a better place because more than 3 years ago, on Thanksgiving 2019, Raven was murdered. Her ex-boyfriend, Randall Watkins, convicted of shooting her.
There's a little kid here.
Right in front of little Arjaya. But Lakeisha still had an unanswered question.
I told my husband, I say something isn't right.
911 was back.
Why did police respond to a 911 call her daughter made that night and then just leave?
We just kept asking for the body cam footage.
For 3 years, the city refused.
Did you feel like they were stonewalling you?
I did. Absolutely, I did.
Finally, after a legal fight that cost a grieving mother thousands of dollars, a judge ordered Minneapolis to turn over the video.
Bad.
Before we show you that video the city didn't want Raven's mother to see, it's important to know what happened earlier that day. In all, 5 calls were made to 911.
911, what's address the emergency?
Yeah, I got my daughter's mom. She's doing some crazy stuff with me.
The first by Randall Watkins, Raven's ex-boyfriend, at 4 p.m. When police arrive, Watkins is refusing to let Raven inside to get her and Arjea's clothes.
All of her clothes are in here. All of her diapers.
But the officer can't convince Watkins to cooperate and tells Raven it's a civil matter.
Unfortunately, I can't force him to open the door and let you go in and get the stuff, okay? That's where my hands are tied.
They'd have to find another time to get her stuff. Hours later, Raven returned for her things. It didn't go well. At 9:37 p.m., Raven and Watkins make simultaneous 911 calls from inside the house. Raven telling the dispatcher she just wants her clothes.
Does he have any weapons at all?
Yeah, I'm sure he has weapons.
Does he have any weapons on him?
Right now, and I'm nervous, and I just want to leave here.
Watkins calls too, yelling.
He just kicked me in my face. He just kicked me in my face.
There would never be any indication that Raven actually assaulted him, court records show. Approximately 5 minutes later,
4-2 on arrive.
MPD pulls up to the house, already warned there's a domestic dispute. Here's the body cam video Raven's mother fought to see. They walk to the house and tap on the screen door. When there's no answer, they don't look in the windows, don't announce themselves, or even knock again.
4-2 on the house, it's all dark and nobody's answering the door. Can you try to call back, please?
Dispatch calls Randall Watkins.
4-2, I got voicemail, call back.
No one calls Raven.
Copy, thank you. We'll be code 4.
Code for clearing the scene. Minutes later, Watkins calls again. Still inside the house police just left.
Yes, I just called 911. I was trying to see how long it takes for the officers to come get my daughter, mom, on my house.
We're going to get them back out there. If anything changes, let us know.
Officers are redispatched, but records show they first drove several blocks away to use the bathroom and then decided to investigate a stolen car. Then, at 10:08,
and the officer's still not here.
A fifth call from this house. Watkins grows more volatile. The 911 dispatcher pleads with Watkins to calm down.
You need to get out of her face. Go to another room.
Little Arjea can be heard crying.
In a whole nother separate room.
Finally, 6 minutes into that final call, nearly a half hour after officers knocked and left, a gunshot.
At night, when Raven got to his house and he had her trapped in that house, she reached out to my husband and my son and she said that he got me trapped in here and he won't let me out. So she had already left with the baby. I'm trying to get the food out. I want to pray and feed everybody. Now my husband and my son is getting ready to leave. He's asking me for the car keys and I'm just being rebellious about it. I don't want to tell them where they are because I don't want them to leave. I want them to stay so we can celebrate our Thanksgiving. But I don't know at this point that Raven has reached out and said what she did. He didn't tell me. But I can look in his face and I could tell that something was wrong. So I didn't hesitate. I'm like, the keys are right there. And they stormed out of the house. My husband said he ran every light he saw to get to Raven, but it was still too late.
In October 2020, nearly a year after Gant's brutal murder, Watkins went to trial. His claim of self-defense was swiftly dismantled by evidence of his refusal to let Raven leave. He was sentenced to the maximum penalty, 40 years. A small consolation for a family left shattered.
So vivid in her mind. She talk about it with other kids that just come up. My daddy killed my mama. You know, when she see ambulances, she think her mom's in the ambulance. She see police, she just terrified of the police, terrified. You know, and this what you did to a baby.
Although Raven's family was relieved to see justice served, they were outraged and disgusted that Randall was not charged or convicted of first-degree murder. The fact that he wasn't held fully accountable for his calculated, cold-blooded actions is a slap in the face to her memory and their grief.
Even though we can clearly see it was premeditated, he lured her there. The state of Minnesota does not prosecute for first-degree murder because they told me that it's too hard to prove because you have to actually prove what a person's thinking. And that's too hard to prove. So they never go after these abusers for first degree unless it's cut and dry first degree. In my daughter's case, it was second degree murder. And then I think he got an additional 4 years for killing her in front of JJ.
Okay.
So he got his case carried 36 years. With an additional 4 years, he got 40 years. Out of 40 years, he'll serve 24 to 26 years and be released. With the prisons being overcrowded, he'll probably be set for parole before that time. But you can rest assured I'll be at every parole hearing.
The loss of Raven has left an unfillable void. Her father, racked with guilt for not arriving in time to save her, memorialized her with a tattoo. Tragically, the family's grief was compounded when Raven's brother, Ronald Jr., was killed in a car accident just a year later. The weight of losing 2 children in such a short span is unimaginable. As the family continues to mourn and raise JJ, they carry Raven's memory forward with love and determination. May her story serve as a reminder of the devastating consequences of domestic violence and the systems that fail to protect its victims. May Raven Gant rest in peace, and may her family find strength in their darkest hours.